basic command in SQLMap we have. The syntax you already know, like we run SQLMap -u and we provide the URL in this section. So this is your URL, right? But this command only works when you give a single parameter. Like you have a URL that has single parameter, then you give this command single parameter. But if you have a path that have multiple parameters, then you have to specify the parameter. So we give SQLMap -u and your URL with custom injection marker where you want to test. So this is the command to check if you have multiple parameters. And we read about 2 or 3 options, I think. So -dbs is for database, then -tables for table name, -columns for column name, and -dump for database dump, right? And we use -D, -T, and -C for the database tables and columns respectively. So these are the basic commands we learned about yesterday. Today, let's explore SQLMap more. So suppose if you have a file that have multiple parameters or multiple URLs, like you collected all the links from the Katana or something like that, Gao, Webek URLs, and you have a file, and in that file you already filtered those URL that have some parameters. So you can easily filter using a grab function. Just grab $ID. So all the parameters will be grabbed and save this into your new file. So suppose if you have your file, so we open a file like cat_urls.txt. We run grab and grab ? or you can grab ID and store the result into new file. So suppose this is your file. So in this file, you have all the parameters. Now you have to filter that in which URL you have single parameters and in which URL you have multiple parameters. Because in single parameter, you don't have to specify the custom injection marker, star basically, or if you have multiple parameters, then you have to specify the custom injection marker. So this is your final file, which is going to test. So if you put this file into SQLMap, what type of option you can use? So your command will be -SQLMap -m and your file name, like file.txt. So m is basically used for bulk file. So if you have a file that have multiple parameters, basically single parameters, but if you have multiple parameters in your URL, just open the text file and manually insert custom injection marker, basically star, into those URL. So SQLMap will understand that where you want to inject your SQL statements and without any errors. So SQLMap will analyze those URLs based on your selected area. So you use -m option to give a bulk file, and with that m option you can give those commands or those options if you want to discover database. So first we run this database command. So if database is present, then we run all these 3 or 4 commands we have. So -m is used for bulk file. Now if you want to give a HTTP request, suppose you captured a request in Bob suite and you want to test that request like in request we have headers, we have some data in the message body, or data in the HTTP request line. So you want to test this particular request. So we have a option called -r. Just copy the request in a file, and using -r option, you can put that request file into SQLMap, and SQLMap will run automatically their statements and will discover the vulnerability in that particular HTTP request. So -r is used for request file, right? The syntax will be this SQLMap -r, and then your request file. Suppose your file name is request.txt, and then you can use --dbs. So -u, -m, and -r, these are the basic options we use to provide or to give the input in your SQLMap. So what type of input you have? You have single parameters, you have multiple parameters, then you can use -u if you have single URL. If you have multiple URLs, you can use -m. And if you want to give the Bob suit request, so you can use the option -r. So these three are the basic options to give the input into SQLMap. Now, sometimes when you provide a URL into SQLMap, what your server or your firewall will do, they will block your request. Like SQL statements are coming back and forth. So your firewall will block your request. So in that case, what you do, you have to increase the levels of testing in your SQLMap, and increase the level of risk into your SQLMap, and some other options, like if you want to bypass the firewall, or if you don't want to use any cookie, if you want to use any extra header, if you want to change the user agent header, if you want to give the some credentials, like you have the login panel, so you want to give some credentials, you want to change the HTTP method. So we have different options in SQL. So let's read about those options. So first is label options. So the syntax for label options is --label, --label, and then you have to give the label number. Like the label number is 1 to 5. So we can give like level 1 or level 2 or level 3, level 4, and level 5. So this is the basic syntax. And what one level means, if you give level 1, that it means a limited number of tests get or post based will be tested. A limited number of queries will generated, and SQLMap will forward those statements into your URL. If you give the level 2, so in this level 2, SQLMap will also test cookies. So in your request, if you have in those URL, if your server generates some cookie or validating those cookies, so cookies will be also tested. And if you provide level 3, then test cookies also user agent, basically user agent and referrer header. So two other headers will be tested. First is user agent, and second one is user referrer header. So if you provide level 3, then cookies, user agent, and referrer header will be tested. And if you provide the level 4, then all above plus what SQL map will do, SQL map will put null values in parameter. So basically null testing will be done with the option 4. And if you provide hyphen hyphen level 5, so an extensive check, some more features will be tested, some more uh, options will be performed. So the level options basically dictates the volume of test to perform, or the extent of the feedback that they will provide. A higher value implements more extensive check. So when your simple command doesn't work, like if this is your command, we have URL and you give hyphen hyphen dbs. But if this is not working, you are not getting anything, you are not getting any database name, then just use hyphen hyphen level and increase the level one by one. But I suggest that you use level 5, because it generate all the extensive check plus all above methods like test cookies or agent user agent referrer or null values. So provide the hyphen hyphen level 5. So these are the level options you have in your SQL. Syntax is hyphen hyphen level, then space, and then give the values of level. Level values is 1 to 5, and this is the meaning of all the 1 to 5 levels. Now we have another option in SQL is named risk. So the syntax will be hyphen hyphen risk and the risk value. So risk value by default is 1, but you can provide the risk value from 1 to 3. So we have 1 to 3 risk values, and what this risk values means. So the action of test will expose the attacker. Uh, this is the specifies in risk values, like how many tests you want to done, like heavy data processing or data manipulation or unnoticeable test, right? So if you give the one risk, so this means a quick testing and default testing, you can say. If you provide the risk 2, then what this risk is, this means test that involves lengthy heavy data processing, and then the highest value we have is 3. So adds possible data manipulation. So now your query will be SQL map hyphen u and your URL, right? And then hyphen hyphen dbs hyphen hyphen level is 5, and hyphen hyphen risk risk is 3. So now this is your command. So if we give the level 5, all the checks will be done, and if we increase the risk values, then all the data manipulation, basically heavy testing, will be done on that particular URL. So these are the option for risk and levels. Now we have some detection options as well in SQL map. So the command for detection options are detection options. So the first command is hyphen hyphen string. So if you use this option, this means a string to match when query is evaluated to true. So you can provide some strings, like you want to match some queries, like if you want to see some errors, so you can give a hyphen string equals to, so this is the syntax, hyphen string equals to, like you want SQL syntax, so just give in capitals SQL syntax error. So if you this query or this value will be matched in your testing, your SQLMap will stop and show you the result. Now, one more option we have is hyphen smart. So you can use this option directly. There is no need to provide some value in it. And what this means, so in smart options, so SQLMap will automatically create some options or use some queries and perform test if SQLMap finds some positive results. So basically, a smart check will be done using SQLMap. SQLMap will automatically create some queries regarding that. So in detection options, we have two options, two flags basically. One is this hyphen string and hyphen smart. Now in optimization, so suppose you are testing a URL and your server blocked you or your session is expired. So we have to provide some flags that will keep our connection persistently. So we have some optimization of flags, or why we use optimization flags, because these options can be used to improve the performance of SQLMap. So these options can be used to improve the performance of SQLMap. And what option we have is, one is hyphen keep hyphen alive. So you can use this option. So what this option will do, use persistent connection, persistent HTTP connection. So no timeout will be done or your queries will be running smoothly. And you can use hyphen null hyphen connection. So use in this option, what SQLMap will do, retrieve page length without actual response body. So if you don't want to see the response, just retrieve the length of the response body. You can use this option hyphen null connection. And you can increase the threads as well. So the flag will be hyphen threads. So in this value, you have to provide the value in it. So thread means basically maximum number of concurrent requests per second. So the by default request is, I think, one. By default threads is one, but you can increase it. Just increase the numbers like 10 or 15 or something like that. So, and we have one more option in optimization that will improve the performance, is hyphen small o. And what this flag will do, this flag will turn on all the optimization switches. So all the optimization switches will be turned on, and you can use this hyphen small o. And one more option we have is hyphen hyphen predict hyphen output. So using this option, SQLMap will predict common queries output, how they behave or what their response is. So these are the five, 5 options we have, or basically 5 flags we have to use in the SQLMap to improve the performance SQLMap, or these options are called as optimization level flags. Now we have some request options or request flags as well. Like if you want to change the user agent, or you want to change the header, you want to change the method, you want to change some data, you want to change some cookie, you want to drop cookie, you want to use random agent. So we have some request flags, and some options, like first option is hyphen hyphen user agent. So just provide the user agent, and the option you have to give some value here. Like if you want to give some extra or some another user agent to your SQL, I think by default SQL map will use Safari browser user agent. So if you want to provide some other user agent like Firefox or Chrome based user agent, then you can give with that option user agent. So you have to specify user agent value here. Now, if you want to give some header, some extra headers like X forwarded, or X host, X request IP to bypass something, then you can use hyphen hyphen header or hyphen capital H. These are the two options to give the to specify the extra or to add extra HTTP header. Request based. So only request based header will be added. And the syntax for this is just use hyphen H, and your header like X hyphen forwarded hyphen 4 and the value. So that's how you specify or use this header. So this is the syntax for this header. Now, if you want to change the method, or you want to specify an HTTP method, what method you want to use, and the default method will be get. But if you want to change the method, you can use the option method and give the method. So to specify, to give HTTP method, and generally we give post and put method. So the syntax will be hyphen hyphen method and post or put. So this is the syntax. Hyphen hyphen cookie. So you have to provide the cookie ID. Like if you ever check the cookie, we have some PHP session ID or J session ID. Then you can specify the cookie value using this particular header hyphen hyphen cookie. to give HTTP cookie header value. And your syntax will be hyphen cookie space or then your cookie like PHP ID, something like this. Now, if you don't want to use cookie and if you have cookie, suppose you are giving a target and your servers use some cookies to proceed, then and you don't want to use those cookies, then you can use hyphen drop hyphen set hyphen cookie. This is the option. You don't have to provide any specific uh, values in it. Just use hyphen drop hyphen set hyphen cookies. And what this command will do, this will ignore the set. This will ignore the set cookie in the response. You can use hyphen random hyphen agent to give the random user agent. So no values in it, just a simple flag, and this flag will use some random user agent. Now we have some more options in the request flags. So let's erase this. If you want to change the host, then you can use the host and you have to give the value. Host header value basically. You want to give the referrer header, so you can use hyphen referrer and then the value of referrer header. Now, if you want to ignore redirects, like your URL is redirecting to anything else, then you can use hyphen ignore hyphen redirect. This will ignore the redirect. You can use hyphen ignore hyphen timeouts. If timeout is done, then you can use this. So timeout will be ignored. So these are some options in file. There are some other options as well in this. Like if you want to specify a proxy, then you can use hyphen proxy. Or one more thing, one more option is important is delay and retries. Hyphen delay. So if you want to delay in between requests, then you can use the hyphen delay and then provide the number value, like how many seconds you want to delay the request. So the delay, and retries. So the retries, you can give one or two retries. Suppose your connection is timeout, or your IP is blocked, then you can retries. You can maximum number of retries you can give anything, but I suggest just three times is enough to retries. So give the retries header as well. And any other options we have? So in the request thing, this is enough. So let's move. So SQL Map has some techniques also to perform the SQL checks. So the default technique is best technique, but you can change the technique using hyphen hyphen technique. Hyphen hyphen technique header, and you have to give the value. So equals to, the default is best, but you can use any other techniques. So I will forward the technique name to your WhatsApp group, so you can use those techniques. And the one more option we have in techniques is time hyphen seconds. So we have to give the time, and the default time you can give anything, and the default time is 5 seconds. So this is the default time we have. And what this header will do, the number of seconds delay to the DBMS response. So three more option we have in the technique. One is hyphen hyphen union hyphen columns. So the value is u column. The second option is hyphen hyphen union hyphen character. So the u character. This is the header, and this is the flag and the value. Hyphen hyphen union hyphen form, and the value is u form. So the column will be performed a range of columns to test for union queries injection. So you can provide the columns number, the character, a character to use the brute forcing columns. So give any character, and u form means that the table in use in the form of a to perform a union query SQL injection. So you can you can use those techniques as well into your query. So if I create a command using all these queries, so now my command will be the important options I will use. So hyphen u is for URL, and I want to find the database. So I hyphen hyphen DBS hyphen hyphen labels. So I increase the label to 5. Then hyphen hyphen risk is increased by 3, and I want to my connection alive. So keep hyphen alive. I want to use the random agent. So random hyphen agent, and I want to drop cookies. So drop hyphen set hyphen cookie, and delay response. So delay, just say 3, and what other we can give, uh, retries, we can also put some retries. So the retries option is also, so hyphen hyphen retries. So use hyphen u, use risk, increase the levels, increase the risk value, drop some cookies, use random agent, and use connection keep alive, give retries, or use delay, so your response will be delayed. Now there are some other things that SQL map will do, and one is operating system access. So if you have a SQL injection into your some path, you can use some command to generate a shell, and that particular command will be used to access the operating system supporting the DBMS. So using those options, we can access the operating system, basically OS or shell, OS shell in the DBMS, and this will increase the severity of your SQL, because using SQL, you can only retrieve some data from the database, but using these options or these flags, you can access the operating system shell or OS shell inside the DBMS that support that particular DBMS. So these options are more important. So if you ever discovered a SQL injection in some path, just use these options, and see if we access the operating system shell, OS shell. So just use these options. So we have some more options to get the operating system access. Operating system access using SQL. So the command will be, but these command will only work when you have a SQL injection, and that in that particular website on that particular path. So the first command is hyphen hyphen OS hyphen shell. So what this command will do, this command will prompt for an interactive OS shell. So your shell, just like when we use the file upload vulnerability, a shell will be created. uh, that's how a shell will be created using this hyphen OS shell command. And if you want to run any OS command, then you can use the hyphen hyphen OS hyphen cmd equals to your operating system command. So here you can give some commands like ls or if config or dir mkdir, just any other commands you use. So this option to execute any command, to execute an OS command, then hyphen hyphen OS hyphen pwn. So this will prompt for an OOB shell, out of box shell, or out of blind shell, basically. Just like if you ever heard about the meter pitter or VNC shell, so this type of shell will be created using this hyphen hyphen OS hyphen pawn command. Then hyphen hyphen OS hyphen SMB relay. So this command will do. SMB is a port. Uh, I think you heard about the SMB port. So the SMB port is also one click prompt for OOB. hyphen hyphen os hyphen bof, buffer overflow. So a shell will be executed using buffer overflow exploitation. So stored buffer overflow exploitation using this command. Hyphen hyphen privilege escalation. So database with some privileges. So these are some options to get the operating system access using SQLMap. So I think these are the options are done. Something, anything else? One more important thing is temper script. So a flag is known as temper script. We have some scripts in Nmap also, uh, and these scripts will scan some vulnerabilities in Nmap, and in the SQL map also we have some scripts called temper scripts, and we use those temper script to bypass the some restrictions or some firewalls or something like your network connections. So the flag will be temper script hyphen hyphen temper hyphen script, and you have to give a temper script name. All the temper script will be already presented in your SQL map database. So I'm telling you the one temper script name is space to comment. So this is a temper script present in the SQL map, and we use this script to bypass the firewall or some forbidden access. But we have some other temper scripts as well. So I will send the temper script name to your WhatsApp group, so you can save those temper script name and use whenever you are restricted or blocked by some firewall. So temper script is quite important option in SQL map. So we create a query using all these options, and then we have analyze paths one by one, and the chances are higher that you will get a SQL injection vulnerability. So use these options combinedly to your target. Just first grab all URLs for all subdomains you gathered, and just filtered parameter based URLs, like ignored all other extensions or single URLs, page URLs. Just use uh, URLs that have parameters, single parameters or multiple parameters, and give those URLs, make a file or give one by one into SQL map and see if we can dump any database or not. Just remember, to dump the database, we have the most common or the important options are hyphen DBS and hyphen hyphen tables, hyphen hyphen columns, and hyphen hyphen dump. So these options will be used to dump or to find anything, and all other options will improve the performance, how you can attack or how you want to your SQL map to attack that particular target. So all those options will be used for that particular query, and these four options or all three options like hyphen D and hyphen T and hyphen C. So these are 7 options that will mainly use to dump the database, and all other options will be used to improve the performance, improve the attack type, improve the risk level, improve the efficiency, optimization. So all other tags, all other options will be used for that purpose. And to dump the database, to discover, we use these.